Geographically located at the heart of Africa, Rwanda is a small country embracing a big vision. World Bank Business Report ranked Rwanda as the second easiest place to do business in Africa. Think of Rwanda as a partner in business. A friend who needs light. A high demand for solar energy system to enable an off-grid access to rural electrification, ensuring power supply in remote areas. A socializing friend, aspiring to become a cultural hub in tourism with more room for a world-class hospitality infrastructure. Rwanda is carving out its niche as a regional and international conference hub. A smart friend who believes in ICT service efficiency, innovation, and growth of talent. A productive friend ready to process and add value to locally produced foods, textiles, commodities, and acclaimed brands. A friend with an affordable home for the emerging middle class along with other public fittings. A friend who counts and grows. There is more room for money to flow and grow by filling the gaps in agriculture, SMEs, and real estate. A healthy friend who can qualify more practitioners from school, manufacture health products, and accommodate local patients in modern health facilities. A friend with knowledge. Rwanda needs to establish more technical and vocational education, ICT schools, and higher learning institutions. When it's time to invest, come to us. Get your business registered in 6 hours in a land that surely means business.
His Excellency President Paul Kagame, the Rwandan president, visited India thrice in private capacity and twice on official visit. And I had the honor and privilege to interact with His Excellency during all those 3 times. So Rwanda is very close to my heart. The volume of bilateral trade is small with India's exports to Rwanda during 2017 and 18 being US $90.6 million, whereas India's import from Rwanda stood US $5.34 million for the same period. The major items of India's exports to Rwanda include electrical, mechanical machinery, pharmaceutical, and vehicles automobile. Major imports are from Rwanda include metallic article, aluminium lead and copper, precious, semi-precious stones, tea and coffee. There are approximately 3,000 Indian nationals are present in Rwanda. So far as my chamber is concerned, Excellency, we enjoyed very excellent and cordial relation with your High Commission. We have hosted many delegations from Rwanda in our many flagship event, invited the ministerial delegation on many occasions, including the Vibrant Gujarat, I for Africa, Africa Day, ITME GTTX, IFAX, Pharmatech, India Engineering Sourcing Show, and many more. We have invited your previous successor, His Excellency, the High Commissioner to Mumbai and Gujarat more than 38 times. And so my invitation is pending, but unfortunately because of COVID, you are unable to come. But the moment the ban is lifted, our invitation is open, Excellency, and I want you to please come over and see this beautiful city as well. So what we propose to invite, we have invited now this speaker from Rwanda Private Sector Federation also. So I humbly request your Excellency that we propose to sign an MOU with them so that this is a beginning. Under your dynamic leadership, we would like that this responsibility should be shared between 2 of us, and we can have an ongoing process to promote, educate, encourage, and motivate the business industry sectors from India and Rwanda on a regular basis. What we propose to invite, a few selected Rwandan MSME sector people dealing in to visit Indian dairy industry to showcase our capabilities, to show how technical savvy we are. Then we are talking about Indian leather industry, where we can be a joint venture partner. Then I'm talking about agriculture industry, where we can be joint venture partner in food processing, in providing, giving them extra modern irrigation, deep irrigation facility, solar, and many more. So now about the eminent speaker of the day. It is indeed my absolute honor and privilege to introduce you, Madam Her Excellency Ambassador Jacqueline Mukangira. She is the Rwanda's High Commissioner of the Republic of Rwanda to Republic of India. Madam, welcome. She presented her letters of credence to Honorable President of India in the month of 21st May 2020. Her Excellency Madam Jacqueline has extensive experience in both executive and legislative branches of the Republic of Rwanda. Prior to her current position, Ambassador Jacqueline served as Director General in charge of Parliamentary Affairs, Fundamental Principle and Research at the Rwandan Senate Parliament Upper House. And before that, she has also served as Director General of Planning and Research in the same institution. Previous to this position, Ambassador Jacqueline served as Ambassador of Rwanda to Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland, with a residence in Stockholm from 2007 to 2011. Before this, she served as Member of Parliament in the Chamber of Deputies, Lower House, in the Rwandan Parliament from 2004 to 2007. Ambassador Jacqueline has also worked for Norwegian NGO in Rwanda from 2002 to 2004 at the office of the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda in 2004. Madam Jacqueline is the former chairperson of Rwanda Women Network RWN, and she also served the member of board of directors of Lumbuto Foundation and member of Rwanda Women Network Parliamentary Forum, the FFRP. Madam Jacqueline holds a bachelor degree in geography, a bachelor degree in law, and a master of arts in peace studies and conflict transformation. She is also a PhD candidate in geography and environment. So may I now request and invite Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Madam Jacqueline. Madam, the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the kind introduction and for your remarks, especially about Rwanda.
Thank you.
It's good to join you today. Madam Sunanda Rajendra, Secretary General of the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, dear representatives of Rwanda Development Board, RDB, Rwanda Private Sector Federation, PSF, and Rwandea, members of the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Namaskar. Up case hey. Muraho neza?
Yes. Very nice.
Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to the management of the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, particularly to you, Madam Sunanda, for accepting to organize and host this virtual session, but also for the usual collaboration and support you have always rendered to the High Commission of Rwanda in India. I wish to recognize our panelists from Rwanda who are with us on this platform. Mr. Stephen Ruzibiza, CEO of Rwanda Private Sector Federation, Mr. Philip Lucky, the head of Investment Marketing Department at Rwanda Development Board, and Mr. Justin Nyaga, Country Manager of Rwandea in Mumbai. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, since my arrival in India in March this year, my colleagues have briefed me about the cooperation with Mama Africa, and the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry in general in organizing and participating in different events such as the vibrant Gujarat Global Summit and others. We are grateful for your support, and I have no doubt that this collaboration will continue to grow. Distinguished participants, it's indeed a great privilege for me to participate in this interactive session on doing business in Rwanda with Indian business community to showcase investment opportunities available in my home country. I understand the tough times that business has been going through because of COVID-19 pandemic, but we should remain optimistic that things will normalize again and business will thrive even better than before. Thank you all for being here today. And indeed, your presence means a lot to us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, since its liberation in 1994, Rwanda has enjoyed a political, stable, and peaceful environment characterized with sustained economic growth over the past 15 years, and it has proven to be a role model for the African continent. Today, Rwanda is a fast developing, transformed, and stronger nation with zero tolerance to corruption. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Rwanda and India in 1999, cooperation has significantly grown, and our intention is to bring it to greater heights. Guided by the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Kagame, the government of Rwanda works very closely with India on a diverse range of issues, both aimed at supporting development in Rwanda and growth for India and Rwanda businesses and citizens. To date, our bilateral cooperation with India is at a strategic level partnership and across a wide range of sectors, including defense and security, health and education, trade and investments, and many others. Today, trade and investments constitute the main pillar of our economic cooperation. Distinguished guests, dear friends, the new Vision 2050 aspires for Rwanda to attain upper middle income country status by 2035 and high income status by 2050, with the intention of providing high quality livelihoods and living standards to Rwanda's citizens by mid-century. Rwanda's medium-term destiny is defined in its national transformation strategy, in which we desire to become a middle-income country with a per capita income higher than 1,240 USD. The establishment of India-Rwanda Innovation Growth Program, which is currently operational, is a sign of mutual commitment to promote science, technology, and innovations. We want to support Indian businesses to work directly with Rwandan businesses for their mutual gain. As we continue to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, the government of Rwanda has put in place several effective measures and guidelines to contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, today, Rwanda is one of a few countries globally to have fully complied with the International Civil Aviation Organization regulations, which saw the recent reopening of the Kigali International Airport on 1st August this year. The reopening was preceded by the setup of new preventive measures to allow resumption of activities and complying with local and global health standards. Rwanda temporarily suspended the flights to Mumbai due to COVID-19, but we are looking forward to the flight resuming very soon. I'm sure Mr. Justin Nyaga, the country manager of Rwanda in Mumbai, will elaborate more about these measures. The new measures are aimed at boosting passengers' confidence in aviation, which are at the same time reducing vulnerability of passengers and crew. Our airport is open, and any Indian investors, tourists can easily travel to Rwanda upon conducting a COVID-19 test. And in the spirit of not wasting a good crisis, the pandemic has taught us to be self-reliant and support the capacity of our local farms to produce essential commodities that were previously imported, and Rwanda is ready to host Indian investors to explore areas of partnership and investment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the last decade, Rwanda has been improving in all facets of economic and public life, targeting growth in domestic industry, exports, equality, women empowerment, and poverty reduction. We represent an ideal base for trading domestically in the region and throughout COMESA, Africa, and beyond. Rwanda's past achievements with respect to ease of doing business have been driven by the focus on creating an enabling investment environment, offering business-friendly regulation, an efficient supported process, commitment to foreign ownership, and multiple incentives for exporters and priority sectors. Rwanda's investment climate is among the most favorable in Africa and globally in terms of investment opportunities and provision of a stable business environment. This is not just my opinion. According to the World Bank Doing Business Report 2020, Rwanda has minimized the time investors spend on taxes and contract enforcement. Today, administrative requirements for investors are less than 50% compared to neighboring countries. The report ranks Rwanda the second place in the ease of doing business in Africa and 38th in the world. It's largely because of the good policies and the conducive environment that there is already a large number of Indian investors and businesses established in Rwanda. Over 600 million USD has already been invested by Indian businesses directly in Rwanda. To name but a few, those include Airtel, Sahasra Electronics, Virunga Biotech Limited, Marasa Holding, Acacia Property Development, Kabuye Sugar Works, Imana Steel Rwanda Limited, Rugabano Tea Company Limited, Gisovu Tea Company Limited, and Pfunda Tea Company Limited. It's important to note that most of investments from India are in the key priority sectors that Rwanda is promoting, namely manufacturing, agro-processing, and ICT. We therefore encourage more Indian investors to continue investing more in these above-mentioned key sectors of our economy, as well as in the sectors of health and education. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we all understand the need of increasing trade and encouraging greater flows of capital, technology, and knowledge between our two countries. Rwanda already has a strong business foundation. I would like to encourage you to reach out to us to learn more and gain valuable insights into opportunities and experiences in Rwanda. I'm here with the entire team from the High Commission of Rwanda in India and our colleagues from Kigali to assure you that your red carpets await to be rolled once you decide to bring your investment to Rwanda, because in my country, an investor is a king. It is unfortunate that since my arrival in this beautiful country of India, we have been in lockdowns and I have been not able to travel around and physically interact with many of you or visit your companies and factories, but we will definitely meet once the situation normalizes. But in the meantime, let's continue to interact virtually and connect with your counterparts in my home country. I'd like to reiterate my thanks to Madam Sunanda and the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry in general for creating this platform, and we welcome this timely webinar, and once again, thank Madam for organizing it. Let me conclude by wishing you all here today fruitful and productive discussions so that together we can uncover even greater benefits, opportunities, and prosperity for businesses and the people of India and Rwanda. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Daniel, murakoze cyane.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for the beautiful speech and those encouraging words. And on behalf of the Chamber, we assure you our fullest cooperation. And we are eagerly waiting for you to visit this province, see the zeal in the business community for Rwanda. Because when you talk of Africa, people start with Kenya. So it is a big challenge for the rest of the chancellery to promote their country, so that, of course, Kenya is a well-developed and already a very big market. But people should also be time and again reminded of neighboring country where the opportunity lies, where we can work on various fronts. From my chamber, we have already, Excellency, approach for education. We have Mr. Murli Subramaniam, the CMD of TMSV EduTech, who has joined the webinar. They have already approached to Rwanda government, even RDB, for giving the amazing education program. But somehow we have to progress because of COVID, it has not gone. We have some other people like ETG Logistics, they are providing logistics services. They are looking for some good partnership. Then we also have Dr. Nizam from Chennai, who is giving one-stop solutions for telemedicines. Then there are some people who are looking for starting laboratories and then ambulance services, solar and ICC services, and so on and so forth. What I would humbly suggest to Excellency, the time comes whenever you are available, please give us your time. I would like to have 15 to 20 minutes individual interaction with these selected companies who already have made visit to Rwanda and now need to be taken forward, so that before the lockdown, if we understand each other, so it will be easy for you to launch them, and after the lockdown gets over, they propose to go to Rwanda and meet their partner. So thank you very much for those encouraging remarks, Excellency. May I now call upon the second speaker, Mr. Philip Lucky, the Head of Investment Promotion. And the Investment Promotion Division is the gateway to investing in Rwanda, and they showcase investment opportunities available in the priority sectors for investors seeking to make a profitable expansion about the region or the continent as a whole. The Investment Promotion Division of the RDB. The vision is to promote Rwanda into a dynamic global hub for business, investment, and innovation. Their mission is fast-tracking economic development in Rwanda by enabling private sector growth. May now call upon Mr. Philip Lucky. Is he there?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Sunanda Rajendran, for that introduction and for really inviting the Rwanda Development Board to be part of this session. We really appreciate the efforts and the mobilization that you've done to really organize this session, and of course through our embassy, High Excellence Ambassador, who also played a very instrumental role in engaging us on this session. I think in the interest of time, you've literally introduced the institution, the Rwanda Development Board, which I work for. And again, our objective as an institution is really to fast track Rwanda's economic development growth by enabling private sector growth. And so our objective is really to attract as many investments as we can into Rwanda. And I must say that India is probably one of the biggest countries that we're eyeing in terms of attracting more investments, specifically in areas that we think are vital for the economy, in health, in manufacturing, in BPO, among others. But also in terms of the investment numbers, we've seen that actually India has played a very, very instrumental role in terms of FDI contribution to our economy. Today, India is among the top 10 sources of FDI in Rwanda. And in 2018 alone, I think we're able to attract over 178 million worth of investments from India. And in terms of trade, in 2019 alone, the trade between Rwanda and India amounted to around 294 million US dollars, with over 230 of that coming, of course, counted as imports from India. So our goal is really to see how we can create more opportunities. How do we unlock the binding constraints that may be hindering business, across the channel, but at the same time, looking at how we can promote private sector partnership between Rwandan and Indian companies. Now, if you allow, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very quick presentation that I'll be making for you to have a very quick glimpse of the opportunities that Rwanda has to offer in the different sectors. So I'll share the presentation now. If you could confirm that you can see the slides.
Yes, sir, we can see it, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, it's very important for you to understand Rwanda from the macroeconomic aspect. Ambassador has already made a very quick intro of our country. She's also highlighted some of the key initiatives that have been put in place to spur trade and investment. But from Rwanda's point of view, it's also very important to understand the current situation in terms of our economy. We are a very small country with a population size of around 12 million. The country size is around 26,338 square kilometers. But if you look at in terms of unemployment rate, we've seen that actually unemployment has been declining over the last 3 to 5 years. Today we're at 15%, but of course, because of COVID, things may literally have a different turn, because we know that coronavirus has had a very severe impact on so many economies, not only in Africa, but even across the world. The other aspect really is on the GDP. We've seen actually our GDP per capita grow 4 times more since 2002. Today, our GDP stands at $818 And of course, looking at where we were 26 years back after the genocide, our GDP was really less than 200. So you can literally see that there has been a very significant growth over the last 25 years. And then the other aspect really is on the sovereign credit ratings. I'm sure that for any investor that is looking to invest in any country, one of the key things they'll look at is the ratings from these credit rating organizations. And so we've seen that actually Rwanda is among the fewest countries on the continent that has been really rated with a B+ stable. That's by Fitch, as well as Standard and Poor's. And the reason why we've seen this ranking is really because of the strong economy that has been sustained by low public debt, as well as confidence in the management of the economy in the short, medium, and long term. Again, for many people here that have actually visited our country, you'll notice that there's been a lot of work that has been done over the last years. Of course, our history has really taught us to be very resilient, but at the same time to be more pragmatic in the way we do things. And because of that, our leadership has really given a very good direction on how best can we build a very strong economy, but an economy that is built around these fundamentals. One, security. I'm sure you've seen that Rwanda has been one of the fewest countries on the continent that has been rated as the safest country to live on the continent. Today, we're the 5th safest country in Africa to walk at night. But at the same time, we've also seen our economy growing. And of course, with our currency remaining strong against the dollar. The other aspects really is on, the economy growing at a very fast rate. I think since 2007, our economy has really been growing at a rate of around 8%, and ranked second in Africa after Ethiopia. Then the other aspects really around, positioning Rwanda as a center for business in the region. As the ambassador mentioned earlier, we've put in place several strategies, such as the National Strategy for Transformation, which clearly entails some of the key areas that we believe will make Rwanda more attractive for business. And for that to happen, that's why the government today is undertaking, huge investments in building the new airport in Bugesera. We've invested in our national airline, Rwanda, that is, expanding their wings to different, to over 29 destinations. But the other aspect is really having a universal visa regime that allows people to, get visas on arrival without you going through the embassies or even applying online. So all these have been really the effort of government to see how do we make Rwanda a very, easy and place to do business, but at the same time to make Rwanda more attractive for FDI on the continent. And of course, this does not come out of the blue. The government of Rwanda, through the Rwanda Development Board, has made several reforms, for us to unlock binding constraints, to business in Rwanda, but at the same time to reduce the cost of doing business in our country. So, as you'll notice from this slide, Rwanda today is ranked the second in Africa to do business, but also number 38 in the world. And perhaps for people in this audience, Rwanda is the only country, the only low-income country among the top 50. You'll notice that the top 50 in ease of doing business ranking are always high-income countries. So Rwanda being among the top 50 as a low-income country is quite a significant ranking, and of course for Rwanda and the continent as a whole. And of course, some of the key areas that we've really made changes or reforms is, making easy to register your company. So today, if you're an Indian company that is looking to register your company, you don't need to even come to Rwanda. It's just a matter of getting on your laptop, connect to internet, and register your company online. It's free of charge, and it takes less than 6 hours actually to obtain a certificate of incorporation. Then the other aspect is really around making trade across borders. Today, if you're shipping your cargo from Nairobi, from Mombasa or Dar es Salaam, Initially, it used to take a week or so, but today it takes you less than 3 days, and you're only required to present 3 documents as opposed to 12 documents that were required 5 years back. Then in terms of really creating a very enabling environment, again, as I mentioned, our development strategy has been centered on private enterprise. We believe that in order to attain inclusive and sustained economic development growth, it must be led by the private sector. And so with this understanding, definitely, we believe that for us to really make Rwanda more attractive for FDI, we have outlined key areas or incentives that can help us to grow economy, but also to make it easy for people to come and set up the investments in Rwanda. So today, our investment code provides for numerous incentives. For example, we have a preferential corporate income tax of 15%. If you're a company that is going to export 50% of your production. So if you're someone who's going to come add value through manufacturing and processing, then reduce your corporate income tax to 15% as opposed to 30%. The other incentives that we have a 7-year corporate income tax holiday for large investments. So if you're someone who is going to invest in energy, in manufacturing, in tourism, health, then you qualify to benefit from this 7-year corporate income tax holiday. But the other aspect is really having duties or special duties for manufacturing. So if you're someone who's going to set up your manufacturing operations, you're going to set up your factory in Rwanda, we've made it easy. As a community, as the East African community, we have ratified different protocols. We have what we call a common external tariff that applies to goods coming from outside the East African community. So if you bring raw materials and machines, we reduce you don't pay import duty actually. It is 0%. If you import semi-finished goods or intermediate goods, you pay 10%. And finished goods attract import duties of 25%. But the other aspects are really that are very important for the audience to know is we do not have any restriction on repatriation of capital assets. As an investor, if you fulfill your tax obligation in Rwanda, you're allowed to repatriate your capital, your profits derived from business activities, but also proceeds from the liquidation of the investment or any other assets. So this is clearly outlined in investment law, and there's no restriction for as long as you meet your tax obligations as an investor. I'll try to be very, very fast. Maybe the other thing that is also very, very integral for the audience here is that I presented in my first slide that we're a population of 12.1 million inhabitants. But there's also a very, very important aspect of Rwanda being a member of the East African community. Gives us a very strong presence of really trading within this ESG framework. So if you set up your business, you can actually access a population of over 185 million within the East African community. We've ratified different protocols, again, as I mentioned earlier. You can easily trade within the region. There are no levies, but at the same time, it's also easy to move goods and services. So if you set up your factory here, it's easier for you to export to our neighboring countries, to Uganda, to Tanzania, to Kenya, and South Sudan. But it's also very important to acknowledge that we also have proximity markets. Rwanda being very closer to DRC, it's one of our biggest export markets in terms of numbers. And so if you set up your investment in Rwanda, that gives a very, very strong access to the Eastern DRC that has a population of over 80 million, but the close proximity is around 20 million inhabitants. And that's why the government of Rwanda today is really focusing on establishing industrial parks within the cities that are very close to Goma, as well as Bukavu, to make sure that there's very seamless, manufacturing operations that can serve these two cities efficiently. Then I'll go straight to the opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really very imperative to understand that Rwanda offers a wide range of economic opportunities for investment across several strategic economic sectors. However, allow me highlight 3 particularly promising areas of investment. One is Visit Rwanda. I'm sure everyone on this platform have seen that government of Rwanda has a strategic partnership with Arsenal under the Visit Rwanda brand. As you know, and PSG in France. And the reason why we really had to undertake this partnership is really to increase Rwanda's global visibility, but also driving both tourism and investment into the country. Our global reputation as a safe and high-end tourism destination continues to grow even during the global COVID-19 crisis. So we believe through this partnership, we're able to attract more tourists, but at the same time, create visibility for Rwanda out to the global community. The other aspect that I also want to highlight is Made in Rwanda. With a very growing African market and increasing regional and global access, Rwanda is a great place really to manufacture goods for domestic, regional, and international markets. And of course, with a dedicated infrastructure and special incentives such as preferential procurement, has really shown us tremendous results. For example, today we have an Indian company that is actually manufacturing and assembling phones, marathons, you know. We have a Dutch company called African Improved Foods, producing nutritious foods. This is probably one of the best companies producing nutritious foods with the highest standards, meeting the European American standards. And then others, we have Volkswagen that has set up the assembling plant, to make vehicles here in Rwanda, and others. But then beyond the 3 aspects that I hated, Visit Rwanda, Made in Rwanda, and there's also a very other important element that I also want to highlight with you, to you, which is Start in Rwanda. We believe that Rwanda is an ideal place for innovation. A reason being is that we have very good infrastructure. Then secondly, transparent regulatory framework, but at the same time, a very, very conducive business environment. Today, we have several companies that have decided to establish what we call proof of concept projects in Rwanda, introducing new ideas, products, and business models. I'm sure you might have heard some of the key proof of concept initiatives that have been introduced into our country. We have Zipline from the US, the only drone company that was, came to Rwanda, established, worked with governments on laws and policies to make sure that they operate drones to deliver blood. It's an American company, but because they saw an opportunity in Rwanda, they came, worked with the government of Rwanda, developed the concept, and thereafter they've been able to scale up to other countries such as Ghana, and even to the US as well, where they could not get the necessary license to operate the drones. And of course, the other aspects, we also have mobility solutions through Volkswagen and Ampersand. Now, if you allow, I'll go to the key areas or opportunities that we're currently promoting in our efforts to attract more value-added FDI into our economy. And one of the projects that I really want to highlight and present to the esteemed audience on this webinar is ICT. ICT, of course, plays a very significant role in our economy. We've seen that the sector actually cuts across all sectors. And so for us really to ensure sustainability, but also efficiency in terms of service delivery, that's why government has really invested a lot of money in ensuring that we have the right infrastructure, but at the same time ensuring that we have the right services that can benefit from the sector. And so one of the key projects that we're currently promoting is the Kigali Innovation City, which is a flagship project that is designed to accelerate the development of Rwanda's ICT sector, but also to transform Rwanda into a knowledge-based economy. Government has dedicated 61.3 hectares of land in the special economic zone. And this is basically, the land is aimed at, accommodating all key products that we believe will add value to the city. Real estate, we're having, centers of excellence, high institutions of learning. Today, we already have 3 universities that have actually set up within the KIC, Carnegie Mellon University from Pittsburgh in the US, we have the African Leadership University, we have the African Institute of Mathematical Science. So we need to have more and more products that can actually augment what we already have, but also to contribute to government efforts to really position Rwanda as a center of excellence in Africa. The other areas that are very integral for economy is agriculture. Agriculture is a very, very important sector for economy because it employs over 56.1% of our population. And so for us really to make the sector more sustainable and productive, we've earmarked several projects. And most of these projects are championed by government, but our goal is really to have a private sector that can come and play a role, both in terms of investment, but also management of these investments. And so some of the key projects that we have in the pipeline, and which are very integral for the business community on this webinar, we have the Gabiro Agro Park project, commercial-oriented farming project initiated through a joint venture between the government of Rwanda and Netafim, an Israeli company that is very well known for having the best technology in irrigation. The objective of this project is really to create a leapfrog development of Rwanda's agriculture system, but also ensuring food security through cutting-edge technology and best practices. And the other aspect is that we want to increase our agricultural exports to high-value crops. Today, our major exports within the sector is tea and coffee, but that has not been sufficient. And if you look at the receipts generated from these two crops, is not that high. And that's why we're now looking at, venturing into production, growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, for us to be able to increase our agricultural export numbers. Then the other project that we have in the pipeline is into meat processing, and this project is known as Gako Beef Farm and Abattoir. The project is in line with government's efforts, really, of increasing our export products in meat, and so this project entails establishing the biggest commercial farm and meat processing facility in Rwanda. The project plan is to establish it on land that is around 5,300 hectares. Today, we already have investors that are actually looking for a very experienced partner, either through management or co-investment, with strong expertise throughout the meat value chain, from cattle farming, from meat processing, storage, and marketing. So if you have the expertise within all these 4 segments, then this is the right time to make a consideration. And then the other important project is really into cold chain, but also having a trading platform for fruits and vegetables, a collection center that can allow us to sell, fresh fruits and vegetables within one place. And this project is known as the Kigali Wholesale Market. And the idea really here is to have a trading platform that can allow us to sell fruits, but also investing in infrastructure, cold chain. And for us to really fast track that, government has dedicated 7 hectares of land secured in the special economic zone to really set up an actual market. The total projected capacity is around 150 metric tons of fresh produce. And in terms of investment, we need the projected investment amount for the first phase is around 32 million through a phased development, and then the 16 million can be added on in the second phase. Ms. Sunanda, if you allow, I'll probably present one other important sector.
Yeah, please carry on. We have sufficient time, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. One other important sector that I would really want to present to the esteemed audience here is the manufacturing sector. We've all seen that for any economy to grow, manufacturing plays a very, very crucial role. And that's why the government of Rwanda has put a lot of emphasis in making sure that manufacturing takes that role in accelerating economic development. And the reason why we want to do that is really to have a paradigm shift and not rely on certain sectors, but also have new sectors that can create opportunities for new jobs. Increase our exports. Today we are a net importer, and we do not want to have this, continue in the next years. We must be able to have production facilities that can help us produce some of the key essential goods and then be able to export to our neighboring countries, but even to the African continent. And so today we've really earmarked several opportunities within the manufacturing sector. And most of these areas are there to address some of the domestic challenges. We want to recapture the domestic market. That is number one. And then secondly, you also want to increase our exports to the region. And so from the studies that have been done through RDB, through the Ministry of Trade, these opportunities that you see on this slide speak to the research and the surveys that were done in different areas. And so within the light manufacturing, some of the key areas that we're looking at is in electronics. We've seen that there's a lot of potential to assemble electronics in Rwanda. From laptops, we have smartphones, and this is an area that doesn't require a lot of capital investment. It's really about developing the skills, but at the same time also having the right technology that can actually help us to drive the assembling of these products. Then the other aspect is really vehicles, pharmaceutical products. Today we import a lot of pharmaceutical products from India, and antibiotics, syrups, name it, all of this. And so our goal is really to make sure that we have the right investors that can actually produce these products in Rwanda. Then the other segment, of course, is in construction materials. This is another very important area. We see that our construction industry is really growing at a very fast rate. And so for us really to reduce on the import of key construction materials, we've said, can we look at some of the key areas where we think Rwanda has very strong and competitive position to produce these and then be able to address the issue of the domestic demand. But the other aspect is also to look beyond Rwanda and see what the region needs for them to be able to accelerate their construction industry. So some of the areas that we have is ceramics and glass, we have cement, we have metals and plastics, but the other area is also into paint. Now, of course, for any person that would want to set up the manufacturing operation, the first question would be, if I come to Rwanda, where would I set up my factory? And so this slide is basically to give you a sneak peek on some of the key services that are currently provided, to accelerate our manufacturing involvement. Today we have the Kigali Special Economic Zone that is fully serviced, that is fully, I would say, up and running. And so all we need is for people to come and buy land and then be able to set up their manufacturing investments within the zone. And when I say it's fully serviced, the zone has well-connected tarmac roads, electricity. We have, street lighting, fiber optic, and the central sewer system. So, as an investor, when you come to set up, you don't need to hustle looking for an area and then be able to set up all these infrastructure. And the reason why we set up this is really to reduce on the time and the cost of setting up your investment. And so the special economic zone is one area, and we're now expanding it from phase 1, 2, and probably phase 3 at a certain stage. Yeah. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I come to the end of my presentation. Again, as I mentioned, Ambassador mentioned, Government of Rwanda, RDB are there to really facilitate. We're a one-stop center. Our red carpet is fully rolled out. Anytime you feel that you want to visit Rwanda, please do not hesitate to visit. There's no excuse now that we have Rwandair that flies to Mumbai. You don't need to apply for a visa. You can get actually your visa on arrival. And by the way, another important thing to note is that India being a member of the Commonwealth, we've even made it very simple and easy. A single entry visa for 30 days is free of charge, so you don't need to pay for that, right? So if you come for 30 days and you don't need to pay for that visa for the 30 days. If you extend 60 days, that's when you'll be required to pay for the visa. So you can see that we've created a very friendly business environment. The ecosystem is very well set up, so there's no excuse for you not to come and do business in Rwanda. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Philip, for an excellent presentation. I have two quick questions, what I have seen in the chat. When you have shown one slide that ICT is 11% grown and 700 million to $5 billion in the coming years. We do have some ICT companies under the Chambers fraternity, and if they wanted to come, how do they have to enter into a partnership with an existing company, or they have to come straight to Kigali Innovation City?
So maybe if I can, that's a very, very important question, Ms. Sunanda. So there are two ways. The Kigali Innovation City is one area, and what we're currently doing is that we're actually developing this city for now. We're in the process of finalizing the master plan for us to be able to commence with the infrastructure development. And then once that is completed, we're going to have another, I would say, trunk of investors that will come and do real estate, because if you're an ICT company that wants to come and set up, you must have space. And so that space definitely requires for someone to come and venture into real estate. That is one segment. Then the other segment is, I mentioned earlier, is the centers of excellence. We already have 2 universities that have already set up there. And most of these universities, by the way, are into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And one of the challenges that they have is that for you to really have a well-established ecosystem where one can actually complement on each other, we're looking at companies that can come and set up hostels within the city to really make it easy for people to be able to do their work without being, without being affected in any way. So that is another that is another venture. Then the other aspect is really having what we call incubation centers. If you want to facilitate startups, they must have an ecosystem where they can operate from. Someone with an idea, how do you make sure that this person can actually work with already existing ecosystem, or if they have the capacity, they can actually acquire space for them to develop their products within the city. So I would say that it's work in progress, but our goal is that we really want to fast track the development of the city, and then have ICT players establish the operation within the city. But the other aspect I wanted to highlight is that partnerships. For businesses to thrive, definitely, for someone to be successful, one easiest way of making a decision to invest is really having a right partner that has actually done business in Rwanda. And so this is another open area. We have different chambers under the private sector that we work with very closely. We have the ICT chamber under PSF that has quite a number of registered companies there that are looking to expand. And the only way they can expand the operations is, joining hands with foreign firms that can add value, but also inject more capital into their businesses to grow their businesses to another level.
I have one more question that is regarding that light manufacturing under construction. We have a company which is into manufacturings of ceramics and all, and they have 1,100 showroom alone in India, and they are looking for their presence in East Africa. So suppose if they come, they wanted to propose to have a stock, and they wanted to carry out the value addition services, and they wanted to have showroom in East Africa. So do they have to come under this light manufacturing construction, or is it a free trade zone, or do they have to come outside and find someone? If you can kindly throw light on that, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Sunanda. Again, that's a very easy question to answer. the answer I would give is that the RDB is there to help him. He doesn't need to hustle. So whether he wants to come and set up a distribution outlet, if he's looking for a partner, it's within our responsibility to make it easy for him to look for the best way to set up his business in Rwanda. So he doesn't need to go anywhere. We work very closely with PSF that has quite a number of companies that have already ventured into this area. So it's just a matter of coming through us and then be able to do the right connection, but also help him set up his business here.
Thank you. What I would request you, Mr. Philip, if you can kindly later on prepare some eligibility criteria to take part in these areas. And if you can share with my good office through your embassy, then what happened is whoever have shown interest to enter into Rwanda, like somebody wants to put a foundry unit, somebody wants to do this, so we can share with them and we can ask them to then communicate to you, and the moment the lockdown gets over, they can fly to Rwanda and start their ventures or evaluate those opportunities. So with these words, thank you so much for the enriched knowledge you have shared with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Philip.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nanda.
My pleasure, my pleasure. May I now call upon the third speaker today, Mr. Stephen Ruzibiza. He is the CEO, the Private Sector Federation of Rwanda, PSF. The Private Sector Federation Rwanda is a professional organization dedicated to promote and represent the interest of the Rwandan business community. It is an umbrella organization that groups 10 professional chambers. It was established in December 1999, replacing the former Rwanda Chamber of Commerce and Industry. May now call upon Mr. Stephen Ruzibiza, the CEO of the Private Sector Federation of Rwanda. Over to you, Mr. Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that is given to us to present to Indo-African Chamber of Commerce about the Rwanda's Private Sector Federation. We really much appreciate, and it will be just in addition to what Her Excellency mentioned, as well as Philip from RDB. It is just going to be through a kind of a short presentation, which will help all participants to have an idea of what we are talking about. As it has been well highlighted by Mrs. Sunanda, the Private Sector Federation started in 1999, bringing together the Chamber of Commerce and also the Employers Organization, which is a bit, different of structure compared, to other countries where you find, different kind of chambers being in competition somehow. But for us, it is one federation, one organization that brings together the private sector throughout the country. It has achieved already, some good achievements in terms of establishing collective investment, in terms of establishing a Kigali Investors Forum where investors meet and discuss some of their issues, removal of withholding tax on transport and other sectors, that is among what has been achieved as well, and international trade fairs as well. Today, I would say that PSF is leading in terms of access to the market by hosting 2 exhibitions on annual basis here in Rwanda, but also facilitating trade missions of private sector members to the rest of the world, including India. There's 10 chambers and 75 associations. And so far we count around 146,000 members throughout the country. Those are the 10 chambers are the Chamber of Agriculture. Philip highlighted more of opportunities under that chamber. The Chamber of ICT, it was as well, more of highlighted in terms of being potential. The Chamber of Tourism, the Chamber of Art and Crafts, that brings again, small SMEs that are more involved into art and crafts. The Chamber of Liberal Professions, that brings together engineers, doctors, lawyers, consultants in different areas. Chamber of Women Entrepreneurs. This is again more of the particularity of Rwanda, showing how much we value again. Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs. The Chamber of Financial Services, which brings together banks, insurance, and all other financial services together. The Chamber of Commerce and Services. The Chamber of Industry, which brings together all the manufacturers under one platform through 6 associations. In terms of why, again, should really consider Rwanda as area of business expansion or investment, this is just in addition to what was said. Rwanda being, the first country in ICT promotion globally, which again gives or adds value in terms of businesses involved in ICT that would consider the investment in EAC. It is ranked as the 7th global most efficient government in terms of efficiency on the side of the government. It is ranked as the 9th best place to be as a woman globally. Once a woman is in Rwanda, you feel more safe, you feel more comfortable. It is the 5th safest place to walk at night globally. Again, whereby you can really walk and you will still feel comfortable. Because at the end, there is no business without feeling safe. For the in terms of the expectations or the focus that the private sector is focusing on more on during this period of 7 years, we are really more of pushing for investment in different sectors through those chambers that we talked about. We are pushing for exports, looking at how the expectation is in terms of different markets throughout Africa and also out of Africa. We are pushing for infrastructure development, be in terms of individual companies, be in terms of the federation. We are pushing more for made in Rwanda products, where we're again promoting locally produced products. The market is very huge, and when you look at the gap, I would say the gap remains significant. We are also promoting new technologies, be in terms of imports, be in terms of exports, be in terms of establishing Rwanda as a hub in terms of hosting new technologies that can respond to the business growth throughout Rwanda and also Africa. In the last 2 years, we initiated a program focusing on collective investment, bringing together the small individuals or small companies to form kind of conglomerates, which are more of growing in different sectors. In the sector of garment and manufacturing, in the sector of seeds industry, in the areas of processing, in the area of transport, in the area of cross-border trade, because again the demand is very, very high in terms of cross-border businesses, imports of different goods from different countries to Rwanda, as well as exporting made in Rwanda products out of Rwanda. So these are already kind of 7 conglomerates which are already well established, and they're also eager to partner with their counterparts in terms of responding to the market demand, be the local, be also the regional markets. And those are, again, looking at either for new investors who can join their efforts, or who can partner with them in terms of expansion of their businesses or their brands here in Rwanda. But again, different opportunities still being more available in terms of partnerships, be in terms of the general trade and also different other kind of sectors. So I would say, in short, that the private sector that brings together more than the 440,000 business community is willing to partner to do business with the Indo-African Chamber, be at the individual level, but also at the organization level. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stephen. That was an excellent presentation. On behalf of my participant, I would like to ask you a few questions. Number one, you have mentioned there about the technology and employment opportunity. So India, we have par excellence in skill development training center for enhancement of capacity building. So there we can play an important role. Secondly, the way you have shown Made in India, we have Atmanirbhar Bharat, which was launched by Honorable Prime Minister of India. So there we can, do some hand-holding support for the private sector of Rwandan business, or maybe MSME, SME people there. Third is that export from Rwanda, what are those products which we can take it and we can have a regular synergy. Like my observation is most of the African countries are into so many commodities, and the farmer or the grower doesn't know which direction to go. So there exactly we need to pay a proper attention and proper role there. Then fourth one is the seed management, which you have spoken. We have a company called Nath Seeds. I'll send you the detail. They are working, they are based in Aurangabad. Our Honorable then Minister Subodh Khan Sai, the Food Agriculture Minister, have made state-of-art facility and they made the center there. They have recently provided this kind of services in Sudan, Khartoum. So if we have, like, seed management is a specialty skill. So if we can work out some synergies, either with they were working there with Ministry of Agriculture. Similarly, if you can see, we can play an important role there. And lastly, you have said about those project outlined about transmission, distribution. So if we get the information about these are the priority project, if they are there, and some more detail about the project, I wanted to know whether this company have to enter into an agreement with the government of Rwanda, or they have to come their own, like a free trade zone, and start their own and provide, or do we have to have a private sector partnership? If you can kindly give me some idea about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For us, we more encourage the private partnership, because we are private and we really believe that it becomes very easy to not only be incentivized by the government contract, rather to be driven by the market forces. So that's why we really more encourage the private partnership, and it is more easier. It is more profit oriented. It is this I would say the easiest in terms of even negotiations, and it doesn't require necessarily to establish. It depends on how both companies can agree. So for that, we are really not ready to I would say to create those connections between your members and our members as well into that. And the same can apply for the seed management, because when you look at the agriculture is really being considered as the top priority, not only in Rwanda, but within the continent. And then the main question, you find the seeds become an issue. So I think while having already some of the technologies existing on the other side, and having business partners here in Rwanda, then it becomes very easy to penetrate, be the local market and also the regional market. The regional, I mean, be the French-speaking countries and also the English-speaking countries, given that we have a cooperation and existing working relationship with those companies. In terms of the capacity building, again, we can look at it in two ways. There is the level of the company level, at the company level, whereby members can just be facilitated to go into partnership. But also again, as PSF, we have initiated Imanzi Business Institute as a business center for building the capacity for all members in different sectors, even being trained in different areas. I mean, tourism and agriculture. So we can also look into such kind of cooperation at level, being facilitated to individual companies or through the Imanzi Business Institute, whereby we can be providing jointly trainings to different members. The same applies for tapping into those other resources available by the government of India. Again, there is, I would say, the lack of more of awareness, lack of information on those opportunities. But once there is an existing partnership, be between companies, then it becomes easier to tap into. But again, between our both organizations, I would say the African Chamber of Commerce and PSF, why not to come up with a specific project as well that would enable our members to expand their businesses, hence being funded by those kind of initiatives. So those are also other areas of opportunities that we can still all together jointly look into. But again, we are really very open for a further conversation about that.
See, my humble suggestion is that when you say Chamber of ICT or Chamber of Tourism or Chamber of Agriculture or Chamber of Financial Services or Women Entrepreneurship Enhancement, what we can do, these are some selected projects where on behalf of my chamber or behalf of my members, I would be interested. Number one, my humble submission is I'll be sending the draft MOU to Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Madam Jacqueline, and through her good office, we'll send you that. So we can have an MOU where we can feel that we are duty bounded to work together on this cause. Secondly, I would request Ambassador to arrange in the long run a B2B for Chamber of ICT with my members who are already in West Africa and can penetrate well. Then we have tourism, we have arts and craft, and especially women enterprises. Now, what happened when we are talking, we have self-help group, we have company with social responsibility, we have some NGOs who are giving employment to 100,000 people in individual province, and today have turn out to be a multi leading company. So we can make use of those opportunities and we can tie up there. Secondly, when we are doing so, there are private financiers who can give finances to this kind of a JV. So that we have to work out, because always we can't use line of credit. There are certain restrictions, there are certain eligibility criteria which may or may not be favoring anybody of us. So what we can do, these are small scale projects, we can work on those. Even jointly our chamber and your federation can also work on these 4 verticals, and if clubbed together, if it is above 50 or 60 million, raising fund from any private sector entity is going to be easier for me. So after this event, I will send a note to Her Excellency and I will request her to intervene, and we take the matter forward. And once January, the things are opening, we are hoping so, I will definitely plan a visit to Rwanda and meet you all in person and take it forward. So with this word, thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We shall look forward to hearing more from you. For me to share again with your members is that in December, we are planning to host another international exhibition, which will be bringing people, from different countries as well to Rwanda to exhibit their products. So in case of matter of interest, we'll be really happy to have members from Indo-African Chamber of Commerce to be attending as well. Maybe later we can share details on that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. And now I call upon the fourth speaker, Mr. Justin Nyaga, the country manager of Rwanda Air. Rwanda Air Limited is the flag carrier airline of Rwanda. It operates domestic and international. Rwanda Air began operations on 1st December 2002 as the new national carrier for Rwanda under the name Rwanda Air, a suitable corporate governance framework to ensure the creation and protection of value for the shareholder. So may I now call upon Mr. Justin. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Sunada. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to present the product of Rwanda Air to our esteemed participants. We also appreciate the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce for availing this platform. Just like you've mentioned from the introduction, Rwanda Air is a flag national carrier of Rwanda, and our hub is at the capital city of Rwanda, which is Kigali International Airport. Rwanda Air operates 4 flights weekly between our hub of Kigali and Mumbai International Airport, which is a good product to facilitate business community from India who would like to explore investment opportunities in Rwanda and the rest of Africa. You will notice that Rwanda Air operates more than over 29 destinations across the African region, which includes to each and every destination in East Africa. We fly to each and every country of East Africa. We connect you through Kigali to Nairobi, to Kampala, to Juba, South Sudan, to Congo, to Burundi, to Tanzania. That's both Kilimanjaro and Dar es Salaam. We fly you to South Africa, Johannesburg, and actually Cape Town. We also take you to Zimbabwe, Harare. We take you to Zambia, Lusaka. We take you to Congo. We take you to name it, the Central Africa, almost East Central Africa, and to greater Western Africa. Uniquely, you probably noticed that Rwanda Air, because of Rwanda being a country where we are able to speak both English and French, becomes an advantage to be able to link you to all these markets in Africa that are either Francophone or Anglophone, the English speaking or the French speaking. So your transit via Kigali, our hub, becomes smoother because communication is seamless in terms of those 2 main languages. Whether you are doing business in West Africa, or Central Africa, where French is spoken, again, you are assured that your goods, your cargo via Rwanda are actually in the right hands because of the seamless communication. But just to go back to our product, like I mentioned that we fly 4 times weekly between Kigali and Mumbai. We also uniquely take you to from Mumbai to the Canton city of China with a direct flight that also operates 4 times between Mumbai and Canton. Actually, our passengers that are from Africa going into Mumbai proceed with the same flight into Canton, and our passengers from Canton into Mumbai and into Africa actually proceed on the same flights on the fifth freedom that is granted by the authorities of Mumbai. And our equipment, we operate a very state-of-art equipment, which is an A330-200, which provides you seat capacity in both business class, the premium economy, and the normal economy. You'll notice the business class has what we call the flatbed, which is a very viable product for a business traveler who would want to fly and hit the ground running. You will be more interested to know that Rwanda Air has always worked to ensure you feel safe both on ground and on air. You can be certain that your health and safety and security is always our highest priority. And as a way to encourage you to travel and bring confidence to you, we look at you, our customers, as if you are in power. We know that you don't have to travel, and you have to feel safe. Like other airlines across the globe, in this situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, Rwanda Air has made great investments, great adjustments on a number of aspects to reduce physical contact and chances to contract COVID-19. So you can be assured that when you fly to Rwanda Air, when you wish to fly to Kigali on Rwanda Air, when the flight resumes, that you will your health and safety is taken care of. Just to mention to you what we have done as an airline, we have implemented what we are calling the 5-step guide, which gives you a hint of what to expect as you fly with us. It gives you the hint of what to expect before you take our flight, when you arrive at the airport, and when you're inside our airport hub, that's Kigali International Airport, when you're on board our aircrafts, and when you arrive to your destination. This information is available on our website. You'll notice Rwanda Air, www.rwandair.com. We have information on prepare to fly a 5-steps health safety guide. You'll also be able to find this information on your destination airport website. But in summary, for your confidence, you'll notice that the travelers that are arriving or departing now Rwanda, already flights are operational into various destinations that have already removed the restrictions. You notice that you're required to prove that you've taken COVID-19 tests, which is taken 24 hours, 120 hours before departure. Then when you are, that should be from a certified laboratory at your port of exit. When you arrive in Rwanda, you also be required to complete an electronic passenger locator form, which is also available on a biomedical center website. When you'll notice that all our passengers, the crew, and our staff are wearing face masks, both inside the Kigali International Airport and on board of our aircraft. Our aircraft are regularly deep cleaned, they are disinfected, and all the services on the aircraft, that includes the tray tables, the screens on the aircraft, the remote controls and armrest and seat belts, overhead luggage bins, they are all thoroughly disinfected to maintain the highest standard of hygiene. counters at the check-in areas within the airport. That's a self-check-in kiosk which we have installed. The baggage trolleys and the security bins are also frequently cleaned, and then it gets disinfected to ensure optimal hygiene. Touchless hand sanitizers dispensers have been installed and are easily accessible throughout the terminal building of the airport. Again, at the Kigali International Airport, the shields, the shields and the visors have been placed on all passenger handling desks for the protection of our passengers and the staff. We have also placed the floor and the seat marks throughout the passenger journey at the Kigali International Airport, which will help you to practice social distancing. Other materials such as headsets, duvets, the headrests are sanitized and resealed and replaced at the end of every flight trip. Every seat belt, every tray, and everything that is touched is actually sanitized at the end of every flight or trip. Whereas again, at the Kigali International Airport, passengers and staff go through health screening, which including the temperature checks to ensure that there are minimal chances of COVID. Thermal imaging cameras have been remotely installed within the airport, and they remotely record the body temperatures throughout, on the main entrances of the terminal of the airport. Our esteemed guests, we recommend that you book your ticket online, you check in online to avoid queues at the airport, and to facilitate that, we have installed self-check-in kiosks at the airport to reduce person-to-person contact. So just to mention that air travel is relatively safe. With all the above measures that we have put in place, you'll be interested to note that the aircrafts themselves, from the manufacturers, be it the Boeing aircraft or the Airbus aircraft, they are actually installed with a high efficiency particulate air filters, what we call in short the HEPA filters, which supply clean air into the cabin throughout the action of these HEPAs. Probably you'll notice that through these HEPAs, the cabin air is constantly exchanged with a mix of outside air and inside filtered air. This air exchange happens approximately every 2 to 3 minutes. Air passes through these high efficiency particulate air filters before returning to the cabin. Therefore, the manufacturers of the aircraft have confirmed to us that these HEPA filters trap 99.9% of particulates, such as microscopic viruses and bacteria, so making it very safe to travel by air. Inside the cabin, air flows primarily from the ceiling to the floor and not from front to back. This helps minimizing particulate spread through the cabin. So, esteemed participants, together with our travel partners and counterparts, we are jointly working on to improve our customers' confidence through strategic approaches that allows us to share full details on the safety measures that we have put in place as an airline, and this giving us a better chance of stimulating the demand sooner and resorting to a quicker recovery. Rwanda Air, to entice you and to make you more confident and willing to travel, we have actually introduced on our flights that already resumed. We have introduced bonus mileages. We have introduced flexible pricing. We have also ensured that the refunds for your travel, in case you made changes to travel, will occur without any charge. And that's among other things that should be able to, which are attractive to you to make a decision to travel. We believe it will be beneficial for us to keep engaging each other with all our markets, so that we can encourage each other and continue to stimulate our desire to travel for business or to reconnect our families. You'll also notice that we are able to keep in touch with you 24/7 in case you have any inquiries through our reservations at rwandair.com or through our regular updates on Twitter and Facebook. So therefore, Rwanda is there as a facilitator for you, the business traveler, to be able to make it easier or to facilitate you to travel to Rwanda to do business, or travel to the rest of Africa to do business. And just to mention that our flights, over 29 flights, are not only to Africa, but to the rest of the continent, where we fly also to Europe, the Middle East. Already mentioned in the Asia continent, we talked about the Mumbai and Canton, China. So with that, Litro, I would beg to end my presentation and to thank you, viewers and participants, for being there for Rwanda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Justin. I would like to share that my chamber has been instrumental in whichever airline has started, African airline has started operating from India, because we are an African chamber and we have more than 8,000 members and we have more than 100,000 MSME patron members throughout India. Ethiopian Airways is one of the founding member last 20 years, Kenya Airways, South African Airways, Gulf Airways. So Air Tanzania, we have done many road shows for them for marketing of the cargo as well as passenger, which was represented by His Excellency the High Commissioner of Tanzania. So like that, we give you an opportunity as well that I'll send you the details and please join the chamber as member. Keep on addressing the members of the chamber so that you can get good business. We have the gentleman, Mr. Gupta from ATG Logistic also. So there are some people who are working, doing licensing on behalf of the members of the chamber, and we can work out. What else? The best example, I have traveled by Rwanda Air from Dubai to Kigali, and I very, very excellent flight, and I've enjoyed, and I keep saying people that one should go and experience themselves. So with these words, thank you so much, all of you. And now I will invite my colleague, Sumit Sharma, to propose vote of thanks. Sumit, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. Madam Sunanda Rajendran, the Secretary General of Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Her Excellency Ambassador Jacqueline Mukangira, High Commissioner of the Republic of Rwanda to India, Mr. Philip Lucky, the Head of Investment Promotion and Felicitation at the Rwanda Development Board, Mr. Stephen Ruzibiza, the CEO of the Rwanda Private Sector Federation, and Mr. Justin Yaga, the Country Manager for Rwanda Air in India. My colleague, board members, and all our viewers from India and overseas. I, Sumit Govind Sharma, on behalf of the Indo-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, wish everyone present here a very happy Navratri. Navratri is an auspicious Indian festival specially dedicated to worship of goddesses. Would like to mention 9 goddesses here. Goddess Lakshmi, that's financial stability. Goddess Saraswati, which is education and skills. Goddess Annapurna, which is food security. Goddess Durga, which is fight over evil, especially in the times of COVID. And Goddess Radha, which is love and devotion. Goddess Dhanvantri, which is good health. Goddess Ganga, which is pure water. Goddess Sita, which is feminine power and virtue. And Goddess Ashapura, which fulfills all wishes. We pray for happiness and prosperity for all of us. Our chamber has always been 100% committed to all the above causes mentioned. We would also like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the eminent speakers for the day. Respected speakers, the information and knowledge shared was wonderful. We are confident that this webinar has provided all of us with huge learnings about the Republic of Rwanda and helps us to develop business opportunities for the Republic of Rwanda. The Chamber has been organizing a series of webinars, which is Africa Connect, every week. Hence, we propose to give everyone a little rest so that during the festival season, you can make the best of your preparations, marching ahead towards Africa to explore new business opportunities. On 27th October, the Secretary General is going to address exclusively to the members of the Rajkot Imitation Jewelry Association. Our office is now open daily between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for export documents attestations. Please visit our office to get your documents attested. Furthermore, we would like to announce that our annual mega event, which is I for Africa, the 11th edition, is scheduled to go live on 16th Feb 2021. It will be a virtual event and the event will be live for a week. So please do give us your wholehearted support to make this event a great success. On behalf of the Chamber and on my personal behalf, I would like to thank the teams of ISCCI and Group MRP and Mr. Joseph, the first counselor from the Office of the Rwanda High Commission, for all the sincere efforts and all the participants for giving us this amazing support, enabling us to hold this webinar successfully. Once again, thanking you all for being a wonderful audience as always. Stay safe, stay healthy. Signing off, Sumit Govind Sharma. Thank you.